Hello, and welcome to the Divorced Dadvocate, divorce support for dads, where we help dads create a healthy and less traumatic divorce. My name is Jude Sandoval, and I'm your host. I created this podcast in the Divorced Dadvocate community as a result of my own high conflict divorce, and because you as a dad deserve all the resources necessary to thrive through this challenging time. I encourage you to check out our website at thedivorcedadvocate.com, where there are resources that correspond to this episode, as well as free access to our membership community, where you will find live meetings, free workshops and courses, private discussion groups, and more. And now, on to this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this week's episode. My name is Jude and I'm so pleased for you to be here. And this is our take 2 on recording this. We just talked for about 5 minutes, and being the old guy that I am in new technology, Jay, you got to forgive me for screwing that one up. But so I'm joined here by a member of our Divorced Dadvocate community and friend, Jay, and this is just a real impromptu thing that we decided to do, which is have a little bit of a conversation around the community, his experience. You've been in it now for a couple of years, and I've been in the workshops and classes and live meetings and some of our events and everything else. And we've gotten to know each other's kids and, celebrate some holidays together and all of that, which has been really awesome and nice. And but let's just start. Tell everybody a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your family, your divorce, and kind of where you're at right now.
Sure. My name's Jay Harris. I'm here, live here in the Denver metro area, and I was married for 27 years. My ex-wife and I have 6 kids together, and been divorced. It's been 6.5 years, 4.5 years, formally divorced, separated 2 years before the divorce. And it's been very interesting. I just didn't see this coming, not necessarily the separation, but I thought would stay married, and didn't see my ex-wife turning our children against me, which has really been the most difficult part of this journey, is my kids. In fact, my 3 oldest, I have not talked to or seen for over 3 years. And so that's been very tough. And so I have a very good relationship with my youngest son, Noah, who's 15 in high school, and he and I are very close. And so that's the only relationship I have, a close relationship with my 6 kids. I have 3 boys and 3 girls, and they're great kids. I just don't know why there's this animosity and unforgiveness. I really can't tell you. In fact, they're not communicating with me, so I really don't know. So that part's been the hardest journey for me, and realizing that I need to let go and not, you can't control anybody else. You can't control what they're going to do. So I've just got to go with the flow. And fortunately, my ex is not fighting me in a lot of areas, so that's been good. It's not been a big court battle. We've been mostly agreeing on most things, and there have been some positives. She forego in the court any sort of maintenance, so I don't have to pay her. She said I never have to pay her ever, and I got that on record with the judge. I just have to pay child support, which isn't very much, which is nice. So I'm doing that right now. I get Noah every other week, and then sometimes during the holidays, it's tough for me because my kids get together with my ex and they all have this big party, and I'm not a part of it at all. I don't get to see them at all. So that part is tough during the holidays, especially Thanksgiving, Christmas, and other holidays. I know Jude's been really good inviting me to things during the holidays, which is wonderful. Definitely take some stress off. But learning to just be by myself and focus on myself has been a real life changer, really.
Yeah, and you mentioned the alienation part of it. I know you've dealt with a lot of that, and I know a lot of the guys that are listening are either going through that or have experienced that as well. Was was that one of the primary things that kind of drew you to the community? I think you got involved through some of our group meetings, right? The group meeting initially what was the stimulus to get involved and just reach out?
Just to have some community and to be able to encourage other guys and, let them know you can get out of this, and just talk about the parental alienation part, because that part is weird. I don't understand what happened. I've got probably 2 decades of videos, 2 decades of pictures of a happy family, happy Christmases, birthdays, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, holidays, 4th of July, and it's all been positive. And then within 6 months, it's like, boom, my kid's running to me, hugging me, saying, "I love you, Dad," to 6 months later, I have leprosy. And I have no idea what my ex told him. I really am completely in the dark of what happened with the parental alienation. And that definitely has been the hardest part. I know there's a lot of guys out there and we deal with this. I'm not sure how to tell you what to do, except where you're at. I mean, just work on yourself, because you can't change other people.
Well, and it seems like we get quite a few guys on the group calls that have that experience going on, or they are at the beginning of their divorce and they start to see the trend of the language that is being used by their children around that, and it's kind of alarming to them, and they come to try to understand. And anybody that's listening that hasn't listened to some of our previous podcasts, there's multiple podcasts that we talk about what to do, how to get in front of this, because it's definitely something you want to get in front of. And I don't know that we want to get deeply into that today and talk about that today, but it is something that's concerning. But the group meetings have been really fantastic in what I've seen as what you talked about as showing up to get support, whether it's around parental alienation or anything else. I mean, as you know, it's a complex, going through divorce is complex. There's a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of emotions going on, and it's very difficult and challenging. But seeing the guys come and you mentioned, have community and get support, but also encouragement, which is really huge, because if you're in the middle of this, and I know my experience when I was in the middle of it was like, there's no light at the end of the tunnel. It just feels awful and chaotic and upsetting and difficult and challenging. And it would have been, so I was fortunate. I had a friend who had already been through it. And so I guess if there was one blessing that I really had, was that he was very encouraging. He had a lot of terrible advice otherwise around dating and everything else, but he was very encouraging that life's going to get better. There's opportunity for you. It's going to be different. And so I appreciate the fact that you brought that up. And I really appreciate when you show up to the meetings, that you are always so uplifting and supportive to the guys. And you always, so I'm not surprised that you just said, that you want to bring encouragement when you come to the meetings, because you always do bring encouragement to the meetings. And I really, really appreciate that. Sure. Let's talk about one of the things that you are probably the best at encouraging, and that's self-care. Taking care of yourself during this time.
So what happened was, it was really kind of weird. I was meeting with a client that was literally 3 minutes from my house. This was in 2016. And I said, "Roger, I might need a place to live. I mean, I could have a separation." And then a week later to the day, so when the separation happened. So I knocked on his door with my suitcase. He's like, "It happened." I'm like, "Yep." And he had a room. He's got a big house. He had a room to stay 3 minutes from my house. And I just moved in with him. And it was just amazing. It was a miracle how that worked out. I had a place to stay immediately. I didn't have to go scramble around. So that was good. And I kept, praying and thinking, well, we've been married 26 years at that point. Then, we can fix this. And unfortunately, my ex got on psychotropic drugs, some pretty heavy stuff. Her psychiatrist really messed her up. And that just created a downhill spiral. That's when everything really started going down. And there was no reconciliation. And then her father pushed her to file papers, because I told her we don't need to file papers. We're agreeing on 95% of the stuff. If we get a divorce, you don't have to go to court. And then unfortunately, he paid for the attorney to push me into court. And so that's what happened on that end. But when that separation happened, I finally realized I've got to work on myself. So I started working out hard. I started exercising in the morning, exercising in the afternoons, riding my bike, 20, 30 miles, going to the gym, journaling. There's a book called A Miracle Morning. It's very good. It talks, there's an acronym called SAVERS, and it's silence, affirmations, visualizations, exercise. I forget the other ones, but the book is really good. I would highly recommend The Miracle Morning, because you get up earlier than normal and you just focus on yourself, reading, journaling, praying, and just, realizing there's things you can control and there's things you can't control. And don't get your mind, all caught up in the weeds, so to speak, that you can't control. Just do what you can control. And definitely, I would recommend, if your kids are young, fight for 50-50 custody. Take her to court. If she's trying to steal the kids from you, fight for that 50-50 custody, and just pray the judge will, allow that to happen. They should allow 50-50 custody to work out with your ex, but don't let it drag on. That's one thing I did with my youngest daughter that I regret is not fighting for her when she was younger, when she was 12, 13. So if your kids are younger than 17 or 18, definitely fight for that custody. Otherwise, you'll start losing them. And, right now I have 30 minutes a month, 6 hours a year with my youngest daughter, and my ex has 10,000 hours. There's no competition. There's no competition as far as time's concerned I just don't have the time with her to, do a reconciliation or anything. So I would really encourage you to start working on yourself. The Miracle Morning is really good. The Power of Now is really good. Mm-hmm. The Bible is really good. I read a lot of Joel Osteen. He's so encouraging. He's just encouragement. And so I would highly recommend spending 30 to 60 minutes every morning before you turn on your phone, before you turn on your computer. Work on yourself first. Put yourself first, because otherwise you'll burn out. You'll get stressed out. You'll start getting depressed, because we have, there's those 5 things of
okay, I'm going to stop you right now, because there's a whole lot of wisdom you just threw out there. So I want to unpack a little bit, a little bit of it, and a lot of it dovetails together. But you're talking about being able to, what you can and can't control.
Yep.
And being able to take care of yourself. And really, what I just heard you say, all that is, and correct me if I'm wrong, is the only things that you can control is what you're going to do for yourself, which is the self-care part that I was alluding to.
Oh, and diet too. Diet. Be careful with your diet. Yeah.
Right. And we talk in the group meetings, and anybody who's listened to this more than one time hears me talk about mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual, taking care of like the 4 legs of a stool, that you're in balance. And so what you described in doing that early, immediately, right after you were able to get settled somewhere, that was helpful in you being able to just level out your emotions, your feelings, and then from there, then maybe you can start working on more of the stuff like what you talked about. If I feel like there's alienation happening, what can I do, and what do I, what are my steps to do that? But if you're not stable, if you're not doing some of these minimum things, and I was just having this conversation this morning too, is it's really challenging, because we get in these emotional swings and it's difficult, and we might get really down. And if we haven't built that system or that environment or those habits, I don't like to call them habits, or they're more rituals. Habits, like you reach for your toothbrush. You don't you don't ever have a habit of going to the gym. It's not like you just pop up and you're rolling into the gym, right? It's actually a ritual, right? You create the rituals that you need. You talk about you're a crazy biker, right? You're up Lookout Mountain and everything and back, and the cardio is a big thing for you.
Right.
The endorphins, right? And has an effect mentally and emotionally on you and in a myriad of different ways, and studies support this and everything. And so so if you have that and you stick to that, so you're able to stick to that even when you don't feel like it. So like if things are down or you're down at the Christmas time or it's a little bit challenging, you at least have those routines that are going to keep you steady. You might not be killing it. You might not be moving towards where you want, especially if you're in the middle of the divorce, right? Because you don't know where it's going to go or what it's going to be like. But you've created those minimum standards of how you're going to operate, so that just gives you a safety net, if you will. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Also,
stay with us. We'll be right back.
Hey, this is Jude with a quick reminder about the Divorced Dadvocate Foundation for Fathers, which is our nonprofit that helps dads through divorce with legal education, free or reduced cost coaching, and mental health resources. If you own a business or know someone who does, there's an easy way to help by connecting credit card processing through our partner program. Part of the fees go straight to the foundation with no added cost to the business, and 98% of businesses are actually able to save money on their processing fees. It's a win-win. So if you know a business that accepts credit cards, get them in touch with me by sending a warm introduction email to jude@thedivorcedadvocate.com or give me a call directly at 720-255-1021.
Think about this for a minute. Do your self-care really get into this? Because you don't want your ex to control your emotions.
Yeah.
Don't let your ex pull you down this rabbit hole of depression. Do not, because it's in your mind. Depression's all in your mind. Do not allow your ex to drag you down this big rabbit hole. It is not healthy, man. You've got to work on yourself to stay emotionally stable, because emotional stability is going to be everything for you during this battle.
Yeah, because it is truly one of the only things that you can control. And I think some people might debate the depression. I mean, sometimes there's physiological things that with people that create depression, et cetera. But again, this still having that basic routine that's a safety net is still going to help you, whether it's mental, emotional, physiological, or whatever, get through those times. So for you, that's the biking and the cardio, right? To get that and that. So what does that serve for you as far as physically? Obviously, we know physically what it does, right? It builds your cardio. It helps you stay healthy. What does it do for you mentally and emotionally?
On the cardio side?
Yeah, on the cardio. Because you talk about it all the time, like get the sweat, get out there, get your heart rate up and going. And I believe in it 100% too. I agree with you 100%, but I want to hear from you. What is it like mentally, emotionally? How does that permeate through the rest of your day?
So for me, I don't necessarily work out early in the morning. I do my lunch break, and sometimes I'll do evenings because I do my miracle morning in the morning. I don't have time to go to the gym or ride my bike. Because that'd be 2 or 3 hours. And so if you guys are not working out, just start slow, do the elliptical at the gym or get a bike and start biking a little bit. I got up to the point where I can do the stair climber for 30 minutes on really high. I mean, I'm literally pouring sweat. My t-shirt is completely soaked. And, even the young people around me can't even keep up with me. And it took me a while. I'm just letting you know, it took me a while to get there. I mean, I'm 63 years old. I can do 60 push-ups right now. This moment in Jude's office, I could do 60 consecutive push-ups.
Jay's gonna.
I hate them. I hate them. Don't get me wrong. I hate push-ups, and I can do 12 full pull-ups with my full body weight. So for me, I've lost weight. I feel better. Here's the hard part, though. When you're on that machine, man, you start and you think. Here's my thinking is lately. I'm thinking, this isn't going to take very long. This isn't going to take very long because I've got to think that way because 30 minutes on that stair climber is brutal. So the first 10 minutes isn't that hard, but the last 10 minutes is like, wow, I'm going to die. And so I'm pouring sweat. My heart's going crazy. I got 10 minutes left. I'm going to push through this 10 minutes. And then when I'm done, I go stretch out for about 10 minutes. And then when I hit the showers in the gym, the endorphins start hitting me. I'm like, whoa, I feel really good.
So does it
I
give you
feel
a sense of like
peaceful. I feel
okay.
Like a little bit of high, like a peaceful high, like I'm happy. Like my happiness goes up, I'd say, 5 times more sometimes, at least 2 or 3 times more. And then, I'm not hungry till I'm done. I get home a half an hour later. I'm like, oh my God, I got to eat, man. I'm going to die, So you got to eat something. And I'm a vegetarian. Now I eat eggs and dairy products. But my diet's probably 90% fresh fruits and vegetables. And that is a huge thing for me. And so when I got life insurance a couple of years ago, and I could get it any time, but it's all super preferred. All my ratings are like perfect because of my exercise and my diet and everything. And you need to do this because emotional downturns can hit your body physiologically. It's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like depression can raise your blood pressure and your cholesterol. And it's bizarre. I don't understand how all that works, but man, you don't want to get there where your body's like deteriorating down. So eating better and working out and the emotional thing with the Miracle Morning, spending time with yourself will really help you through this whole process in a huge way. Because I've seen people not do this and they eat poorly and they gain weight and their depression goes up and they're eating too much sugar and they're going in this downhill spiral and they're just getting worse. And you do not want to get worse. So you need to like pour it on, man. I don't even care if you're really busy at work. Get up a little earlier, shut everything down for 30 minutes at lunchtime, whatever it takes, work on yourself because you don't want to go down that rabbit hole of depression and anger and because it'll burn you out.
Yeah. So those of you that have never done the stair walker at the gym, it is not easy. I've been doing cardio for years and years. So, and so I really appreciate that. And Jay's a testament to doing this. And I've got it's doing that self-care and maintaining that in order to get through it. And I've got a funny story about when I was going, or when I had just finished my divorce. I go in for my annual and get my blood work done. And so it was the year after my divorce. And I can't say that I did everything that I'm saying to do or that you've done successfully. I did the exercise. I did start exercising well. And I had always meditated for a very long time, but got out of the practice, so I did do some of this stuff, but not to the extent I really should have. Which is one of the reasons I'm here sharing with everybody every week about that. But so I went in, I got my blood work done, and I went back, and because my doctor reviews it with me, and he sat down and he's going through the numbers. He said, "Man, your numbers look phenomenal from last year." And he had the one from last year, and he's like, "This is down, and this is down, and this is improved, and this and that." And he said, "Man, like this is pretty miraculous. What happened? I mean, what have you done?" And I seriously looked at him and I said, "I don't know, other than getting a divorce." And that was truly, really the only so you talked about the stress and everything else and chronic stress, it's going to beat you down. It'll beat you down. And so anyway, that's a funny story. Let's switch gears a little bit. And I want to talk a little bit about, and you've got about 5 minutes left. Yeah. So about what the community and being involved in the community has helped you with and provided you with, and why the men that are listening should get involved into the community, and how that's going to benefit them through going through this and even post after, like us.
I would say the encouragement and a lot of things, like some of the guys on the calls are like right in the middle of the weeds. I mean, they are like 2 or 3 weeks in, or they're just filing, or they're 3 months in, and they're discouraged, man. You're going into depression mode. And like Jude and myself and some other guys have already gone through it. And we encourage you to just say, you're going to get through this. It's not it's hard right now, but you are going to get through this and you will be successful. And so my encouragement is stay with the group. Don't try to be the Lone Ranger, man. I just think of it this way. I've been going to church for years. My dad was a pastor, and I've been going to church since I was born. But I've had a pastor once say, if you try to be a Lone Ranger, it's kind of like if you watch those the Serengeti, documentaries in Africa. They go after the weak. They go after the sick. They go after the newborns. They don't go after the fastest gazelle out there because they'll never catch them. So if you're going to be a Lone Ranger, you're like prey for the enemy of our souls to just get eaten. And it's just going to get worse. You've got to bind together with other guys. If you're in this group of gazelles and you're in the middle of it, the lion or the tiger will never get to you. So it really helps to be in a group and be encouraged and let you know you can get through this. And there's certain things you can do, like the self-care and the exercise and those sorts of things. And get a number of a buddy to call too, and just go, look, man, I'm feeling really down today. Can you pray for me? I mean, just little things like that will get you through it. And so that's my encouragement is get in the group, stay in the group, and you'll be encouraged.
Dude, I love that Lone Ranger analogy and the fact that, talking about the herd mentality, right? We're a brother, and the community, the Divorced Dadvocate community is a brotherhood. And, and I think you've probably felt that you weren't at the Christmas party, but we had a ton of guys there from the Christmas party, but you were at you've been at some of the other parties, and that's why we're here. We're here to support each other. And also, even when we're supporting, even me, almost a decade down the road on this, there's still times where I need some uplifting, and I get on these calls and I'm sharing what I got going on as well. And I get I've got your Savers thing today and Miracle Morning. I've heard of it. I haven't read it. The Savers, I love that. And I have to look up what that acronym is now because I want to imply that. So there's, no matter where you're at, if you're contemplating, if you're in the middle of it or you're post, getting involved with the brotherhood and supporting each other, you're going to get something out of it and you're going to give something. And that's absolutely huge. And so, yeah. And brother, I appreciate you being involved and you showing up all of the time and showing up and how you show up, not just showing up and being positive and encouraging, because I know you're going through stuff and I know other stuff in your life and you're going through stuff, but you always show up with a big heart and kinds of supportive words for all the guys. So I really appreciate it. And I appreciate you sharing today. It was it was nice. I'm glad you're in the neighborhood. I'm glad you stopped by, and I'm glad we got to talk and share with some of the other guys across the world. So anything, let's give a plug for some of the work that you do on the financial side of stuff. And if people need any financial support, part of the brotherhood is helping each other out in any other way. And I know that you do, you're working in financial services and insurance. So where can they connect with you and how can you help them?
Well, I'm a financial advisor, so I help people with tax savings, retirement savings. We've got special plans, that are low risk that will help you grow your assets, and so you can have money for retirement and maybe money for your lawyer too. Because that's not cheap either, man. Oh my goodness. So yeah, if you need any help with I'm a money guy, man. I just dream. I look at spreadsheets all day and dream about numbers, and that's just who I am. And it's all a numbers thing. You just have to have your money grow so you can retire. So that's what I do. And I want to encourage you guys, you'll get through whatever you're in right now, you will get through this, but it's much easier if you have brotherhood, connect with the brotherhood and get encouraged with the brothers. So that's my take. And, I'm doing really well in my life right now. I had no idea it would end up being this good. I mean, I met a great woman. We're engaged to be married. She's unbelievable. I've never had a woman this good in my life. My business has taken off. I mean, God's blessing me in ways I had no idea. So you will get through what you're going through and life will get better.
That's awesome. And so is there a website they can connect with you if they want to chat about any of what you've got to provide?
You can just look up Double Diamond Financial in Lakewood, Colorado. That'll pop right up on Google or whatever. And I'll have phone numbers there and everything. So Double Diamond Financial. in Lakewood, Colorado. Yep.
All right. Perfect.
All right.
Well, thanks so much, my friends.
Sure,
And
thank you.
thanks for listening, everybody. And we will chat with you next week. God bless.
Thanks, Jude. Excellent.
To hear the rest of this episode and access the corresponding resources, visit thedivorcedadvocate.com and become a member of our community. It's free to join and will provide you with the resources you deserve as a divorced or divorcing dad. Thank you for listening. God bless, and I'll talk with you next week.